What's happened in the Trayvon Martin case since the mainstream media stopped paying attention, and therefore, as a result of that, a lot of Americans stopped? Think Progress has a great article outlining what has happened. One thing that has happened, as you can tell from the picture up on the screen, is that George Zimmerman has put on 100 pounds. What's the explanation for that? Too much eating, I guess. I guess it's simple. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah, stress. Stress can do that.
So this was first in the media constantly, then it was completely gone, as often happens in the media when hype and hyperbole are basically replaced by a news story that requires a lot of hype and hyperbole. Things are moving towards the trial, which is set to happen this summer. So what's been going on? Like I said, number one, George Zimmerman has put on 100 pounds. Number two, George Zimmerman has spent over $300,000 in donations over the last year and is trying to raise more money to finance his defense. He has spent over $125,000 on living expenses, not including security, over the last year. This is truly incredible, Lewis. Forgetting about the security that he is paying for, which he says he needs, which he may need, I don't know. $125,000 in living expenses when you're simply trying to mount a defense. Most people don't spend $125,000 a year on living defenses. This guy has turned a murder charge into living $125,000 a year on just living expenses lifestyle. Something about this is disgusting.
It's just bizarre. I don't know. Is he nomadic? Is he traveling from place to place, living in hotels? What is he doing?
Maybe he is. Maybe that's the way he thinks he's safe. He needs security guards to follow him around to a different hotel every day. I don't know. The trial is set for June 10. Zimmerman has asked for a delay. The judge has said no. His lawyer says they can't be ready in time for June. The judge has said no. Then there's a separate proceeding going on, and this is actually happening soon. In mid-April, there will be almost like a mini trial where it will be determined whether George Zimmerman is immune from prosecution altogether based on that infamous Stand Your Ground law. So we'll know about that in just about a couple of months.
Well, someone has to keep their eyes on this. I guess it's up to us, right?
Yeah. A couple other interesting things. A new forensic analysis casts doubt on Zimmerman's timeline on the night he shot and killed Trayvon Martin. This was an analysis done by Michael Knox, a retired Jacksonville Sheriff's Office detective and crime scene investigator. And this analysis says that based on the times and distances Zimmerman said he covered, Zimmerman would still have been on the phone with the police when he claims he was attacked by Martin. So as we can see, the more investigation is done, the more the story falls apart. And lastly, Zimmerman's defense team has acquired Trayvon Martin's school records, which his lawyers say are relevant. The attorneys who are representing Trayvon Martin are saying those records are completely irrelevant. These two individuals didn't know each other before the night of the shooting. Therefore, anything that Trayvon Martin did in school would be completely disconnected from this trial. I agree with that, Natan, but some people say, no, there are character things in his school records which may be relevant, but I don't buy it.
Well, I think it's the reason why it should be permissible is because we don't know ahead of time. In other words, you can't just say that George Zimmerman is guilty. His targeting of this kid had nothing to do with him until you have a trial. So in the trial, that will come out whether it's relevant or not. You can't say beforehand that, he's guilty. He didn't know him beforehand, so we can't even allow this evidence to come into place.
We know that that Zimmerman has a questionable past when it comes to violence.
Yes, he does.
I mean, would you want that thrown out?
That's interesting. No, but isn't that different? As a perpetrator, isn't that different than... I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. That's a good question, Lewis, actually.
I mean, I think generally character witnesses are permitted in most cases. And
I guess if you can specifically argue the information is relevant to the crime committed, the alleged crime committed.
Let me give you an example. If they found that Trayvon Martin had gotten into fights in the school or had been disciplined by the principal, that's something that the defense would want to use to show that maybe that makes it more likely to believe that then he was the one that started the violent altercation. I'm not saying that's what happened.
No, right, but that is logical. That's interesting. We'll have to see what happens with that with the school records, whether they are admissible or not. The Martin attorney saying they are not. And the other thing, the judge denied George Zimmerman's request to be removed from GPS tracking. Comment from the stream. Is it possible that Zimmerman's attorney suggested he gain weight because he will look less threatening if he is bigger and presumably less mobile in front of a jury? Is that a possibility?
No, I don't think so. There are plenty of pictures of him on the night this happened, where he was significantly thinner.
But
I
if
think
you
it
see the
depends
guy
on whether-
sitting there, if you see the guy sitting there and he looks very overweight, maybe that does mitigate.
Well, that depends on jury selection. If the jury is all fat, like George Zimmerman, then maybe they'll be more empathetic. If not, maybe not.
Honestly, I think the stress this can happen to people when they're really stressed out.
Just a question from the stream, Lewis.
Yeah.
I only asked the question. That's it.
I'm just stating my guess.
Thank you.
Yeah.